Hello and welcome to the Listening Post's YouTube tips and tricks. One of the most common questions that we are asked is, how do we set up a turntable? I've got in front of me one of our most popular models, the Pro-Ject Debut Carbon. The first thing to do is unbox the unit and identify its parts. Belt, anti-skate weight, counterweight, platter and felt mat. The first thing to attach is the belt. Very, very straightforward. Simply put it over the main centre part and over the pulley's first cog. You will see some screws and other things exposed in the turntable, and some of the older turntables had a little warning here to remove both screws before use. This model has a slightly different suspension and it's no longer required, so leave all the screws where they are. The second thing to identify is the counterweight. This can very loosely be put into the arms position, and then add the platter and the slip mat. We'll put to one side the anti-skate weight. Spinning the turntable round for a moment, you should see a protective cover for the Stylus. I'm going to put that to one side. For those people that won't be moving their turntable, that's probably the type of thing that you could discard. It's often not needed, but if you're not using a turntable a lot, or if you've got an avid duster in the house, then keep that close to protect the Stylus. Remove the twist tie used for packaging. Again, if you're not going to move your turntable, then this can be discarded, otherwise keep it handy. Right, at this point we want to be able to balance the arm, cartridge and counterweight. So lower the tone arm onto the surface of the platter and then work this backwards to a neutral point. This counterweight's job is to apply the downward force required to track properly onto the record. If there is too little downward force, the arm will pop up. If there's too much, it'll drop straight down. The first thing is to wind this back slowly to a neutral balance position, which is about there. You will see that it's free and balanced, and at that point you'll want to return or put this guide at 0, and you'll see I've used two hands to do that. This is a free-floating guide and will move independently of the counterweight. At 0, this is then used for us to be able to apply a certain measured downward force. Now the instruction manual states 1.5 grams, which should be, on this scale, about 15. Feel free to apply a little bit more or a little bit less tracking force as part of your experimentation with your records and the music that you're listening to. Sometimes crackle and other distortion can be reduced slightly by reducing the tracking force slightly or adding a little bit more down. Okay, now I'm going to cheat today, and if you've purchased your turntable from the Listening Post, then you can borrow this at any stage. It is a Pro-Ject Measure It. A little wee dot there specifically to measure very, very accurately the downward force that you're going to apply. So move that into position, move the Stylus onto it, and you will see that despite this being wound to 1.5 on its scale, it's measuring at about 1.2. So we actually want to apply a little bit more by simply winding it further on. This being accurate to 3 decimal places means we can have a lot of fun being very, very accurate with it, but about there is fine. You can see plus or minus a few is fine. Particularly if you've got the freedom to adjust a little bit more downforce to your requirements. Okay. So at this point, use the lifter, move everything out of the road, and you're ready to just check basic operation that fluid and drop slowly down onto what will be the record. Okay. Next is to apply the anti-skating weight, which is very, very simple to slip on the notch here, the second notch of the 3, the middle one effectively, and add the counterweight over the hook. If you are to move the turntable even within your own home, my recommendation is that that counterweight is removed, because it's one of the first things that people lose in our history. Okay, again, second notch, and then over the hook. Check that everything seems to operate as usual, and you are away laughing. Put on your record, plug it in, and you have your turntable set up.